Um, so Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. Warm welcome to everyone who are here with Bitcom to listen to our honorable speaker of today. The title of the talk is Transforming Technology into Business and Securing Relevant Funds. Let me first introduce you to our distinguished guest of the day, Mr. Yusno Yunos. Mr. Yusno founded his company with an audacious vision to create a comprehensive event ecosystem that involved event planners, participants, and suppliers. With this vision emerged EVENESIS, which is a complete cloud-based end-to-end event management system. You can check out EVENESIS at worldwideweb.evenesis.com. Did I pronounce it right, Mr. Yusno?
Yes, you got it
EVENESIS.
right. EVENESIS,
Yeah,
correct.
that's EVENESIS. So Mr. Yusno holds a bachelor degree in information system and a master's degree in management information system from Carnegie Mellon University, USA. Mr. Yusno wore so many hats, it's very hard to keep up, but to highlight a few, he began his career in the United States as a web developer at Carnegie Mellon University before returning to Malaysia to work with Tenaga Nasional Berhad. So at TNB, he was involved extensively in solution development and program management, where he played a key role in development of the corporation CRM system, mobile field force automation, and GIS. He then moved on to another consulting firm where he was the software architect who produced a variety of online branding and marketing solutions. So fast forward to now, Mr. Yusno's very own company, Y Us Syndrome Berhad, that's the letter Y, and us as in US, Syndrome Berhad, has already won the Technology Benchmark SME and Entrepreneurship Business Award in 2018 and was listed as Malaysia's top 10 most innovative ICT companies in 2014. It is a certified ISO 9001-2015 company with an MSC Malaysia status. So let's talk a little bit about EVENESIS. So it is something that was listed on top 20 most user-friendly event management software by Capterra in 2018 and was recognized as the top 30 most promising software brand by CloudSwave in Web Summit 2015 Dublin. So EVENESIS has won multiple awards such as winner of Malaysia Intel APEC Startup Challenge 2013 and a two-time runner for the MSC Malaysia API CTA Award in the year 2013 and also 2011. And the interface was also nominated to be on the list of Asia's top 50 apps. So with that, I would like to give the center stage to you, Mr. Yusno, because we can't wait to hear your talk. So Mr. Yusno, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Fazlin. Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi. Very good morning, everyone. Can see quite a number of turnout today. Okay, good. My target is dapat 20 pun jadi. I think we are about more than 20, which is very good. Thank you to Bitcom, UITM for having me today. I think first met Fazlina, I think about one month ago, dekat that workshop. So that led us to this session. So I'm happy to be here. This is not going to be a full 1.5 or 2 hour session where you get to see me speak and give you slides or presentations or lectures. It's more like a informal Q&A, chit-chatting, trying to share whatever that I've seen throughout the years in entrepreneurship. I'll share a bit about myself shortly. But what I would like to do right now is to ensure we are all in a simple platform where I'll be using Slido. So hopefully with Slido, you guys get to ask questions at any time, so you don't have to wait till the end. So along the way, while I'm sharing, I will also be checking the Q&A part. So for those of you who are not comfortable raising hands or talking directly on Webex, just drop whatever. You just can say hi, or you can say I'm bored, or this is not relevant. Kan? Boleh je, no problem. In Malay, in English, acceptable. In Arabic, maybe sikit-sikit boleh faham lah. Ana, anta, anti, kan? Alhamdulillah, kan? In other languages, unfortunately, I'm not able to converse. So let's keep it to that. Okay, the link to Slido is on the chat. Right, if you are a bit canggih sikit, I'm going to share my screen now. And we can basically scan the QR code lah. Either way, so you guys can click on the link inside the chat on Webex, or you guys could also scan the QR code that you are seeing on the screen. Okay, so kalau ada yang terlepas the link tu in chat, hopefully admin, whoever that is managing Webex, can keep reposting the link for those who are joining late to this session lah. Understandable. Okay, so I'm gonna start first with a quick poll. I'm just gonna make sure we are all celik apa, dah bangun semua kan, even though it's 10 o'clock. I think it's still early to some of you who are working remotely. Tak ada kelas ke, tak ni kan. So yeah, how are we feeling today? Anything, it could be an emoji, it could be a text. And some of the newer generation, they don't like to text, they just put one single emoji. Go ahead. Luar biasa. Alhamdulillah, good. So far, so good. Good. Continue. Kita ada ramai today. How many people we have today? I think we have about, close to 30 already. So the more feedback or things we are seeing, meaning that you guys are here. Oh, ada 35. Alhamdulillah. Good. Seeing a lot of academicians, researchers. Sangat happy. I mean, the more positive things that are on the screen actually will be motivating me more as well to share good things, to share interesting stories, hopefully. Yep. Tak apa, kalau not so good pun, we will turn it into a good day, insyaAllah. Sangat happy. Syukur Alhamdulillah. Good, great. All the emojis, good ones are coming out. Ada lagi? Okay, because I see the status is one participant is typing, so I'm going to let... okay, go ahead. Type. Boleh type. I think more than once pun boleh. Great, exciting. It's mid of the week, yeah, Wednesday. If you already have questions, feel free to switch to the Q&A punya tab. You can actually ask questions. Okay, so thank you very much. I believe all of you are in a very good, positive state of mind. Okay, can we move to... I think I'm going to move to the next poll. Syukur Alhamdulillah, good, a lot of good things. Okay. I just want to have an assessment in terms of understanding the composition of attendees today. So if you guys can help me to answer that, you can choose more than one. Yeah, this is not tak ada right or wrong. I just want to understand sebab we are more than just one category lah. We understand that some of you are also finishing your masters, finishing your PhD, so you can consider yourself a student. You are also teaching, you can consider yourself a lecturer. You are doing some research, you can consider yourself a researcher. You can also be an ex-UiTM, so you are an alumni. You are running a startup or a business, you are an entrepreneur. And if you're coming from a technology background and you're very passionate in that, I can see that you are also a techie. Kan ada lagi kat bawah tu. The last two is just to see where you are lah. Kan, whether you are more like an extrovert type ke, introvert type ke, kan. Kalau dua-dua, feel free to put tick extrovert and introvert. Okay. So majority are lecturers and introverts. It's okay, nothing wrong with that. I'm an introvert as well. Researcher, okay. Alumni, all right. Okay. So I suppose the existing entrepreneurs are still low, but I suppose majority are moving towards that, knowing that this is coming from Bitkom, kan, organized by Bitkom. Okay, good. This is out of 15 packs lah. Ada lagi tu yang tak open up Slido and take this questionnaire. Okay, so if I know that the audience are majority a lecturer, so it's good. It's good. So now I can expect a lot more tough questions coming up in the next 1 hour, hopefully. Kan kalau majority students yang about to finish their degree tu, normally the level of questions would be not as complicated lah, I would say. Okay, thank you very much. 18 I think is a good enough. Let me see whether I still have. Okay, then I'm going to stop the poll dulu now. I'm going to do an introduction about myself lah. Okay, again, a very good morning, everyone. I didn't choose a topic, so the topic was given to me. It's okay. I know the topic is quite long. Kan ada technology, ada business, ada funding, securing, kan? So in other words, I know you wanted to know more about what's out there and how basically you can use whatever that you have, whatever that you are researching, whatever that you are learning, and maybe turn it into a business, hopefully one day. And from there, you definitely need to raise some funds to be able to grow and sustain in the ecosystem. Okay, entrepreneurship, businesses is all about being comfortable with this. So I'm going to start with this simply because I always believe in the fact that there's no certainty in life, right? Especially when people say we are in a comfort zone, right? So if you're really going to be into entrepreneurship, you are going to step into this world, you have to understand there is no such thing as a right thing, meaning that I'm not going to be able to tell you that if you do this, you will definitely be a success. Okay, so a lot of variables lah that will come into play. But what we can do is we can learn and minimize the risk in order to achieve whatever that we are setting lah. So certain people, they have set certain goals kan, in their businesses. So be very comfortable with that. Sebab kalau we are always stressful, kan, with all the increasing number of mental health, so maybe certain things are not quite, I would say, it's not suitable for you to be in the space when you are not comfortable with the level of uncertainties. All right. About the company dulu lah before I talk about myself, boleh lah. So I'm just gonna run a quick, how many minute? 2 minutes video code. So this is basically what EVENESIS is all about, what we have done since we started and also during the pandemic, the past 2 years. Is the screen, the video freezing? I haven't optimized it yet. Give me one sec. Zoom or Webex ni, you guys pun know kan, kalau tak optimize the motion and video ni, it's gonna be a bit cantik. So for this, I'm gonna run it again. All right. Sama juga tak? Kalau nak tengok video, I will nanti bagi link je lah after the session. So I'm gonna tell you what we do is even better. Sorry about the inability to share the video lah. So skip that. Okay. So we've been around for a number of years. So people always, I mean, you would sometimes see us a lot in startup events. So tapi you tengok we've been founded for almost 12 years already. The thing is to always keep yourself young, to always keep yourself in the community, to always see yourself as startups, and no matter which year you are in. Okay, so 12 years down the road, we have done quite a lot of things. To be honest with you, I came from a very technical background. So tadi you can see at the cerita that I graduated with a degree and masters from Carnegie Mellon. So I was quite lucky because I managed to get my scholarship from Tenaga Nasional. That was back in 1998. Then I came back in 2003. So I worked with TMB for 4 years. And then I joined another consulting firm for 2 years. And then during those years, I decided to get married. And my wife and I basically we had challenges in planning our wedding. And I think all of you who are married, you're very familiar with the challenges. And it's not easy. And then with the bit of a technical background that I had, I was able to create a simple system for wedding invitation. Okay, so back in 2007, 2008, those days. So we had that idea, we had that a small minimum viable product, or nowadays we call it MVP, those days we call it a prototype. So that prototype we decided to go to MDEC. Okay, those days, 2010, maybe you haven't heard about this pre-seed fund from MDEC. So we were among the last batch to receive that. So those were the days when we first started. Raise a bit of a fund, not much, masa tu dalam 150,000. And with that, we were able to move from idea to MVP, prototype, and then to start commercializing it. Okay, later I'll share you the entire journey. So what EVENESIS is all about, kalau video tu tadi was able to be played, we are an event technology company, to put it simply. We are not event organizers, so you guys know people organize a lot of big events, concerts, conferences, exhibitions. We are the technology provider. So for these events to happen, they need technology behind the scene. So we cover everything from pre-event registration, marketing, anything that requires technology to help them to organize the event, project management, budgeting, straight to the event itself on the day of the event. Sometimes you need mobile app, you need on-site registration, tracking of attendees. Even right now, you have virtual platforms and also analytics of the event. So all of the numbers, the data that are able to predict how successful or important or interesting the event is going to be in the future as well. Okay, so that's practically what EVENESIS is all about. I think some of these things have been mentioned earlier by Fazlin. Just wanted to highlight two things. During the pandemic, everyone was affected. We all know that. Businesses, majority of businesses were affected. Kita in IT pun was deeply affected because we are linked to events. So events were not allowed to run, kan, to be organized. But what we had to do is we had to move quickly. We had to pivot, and we actually created a new solution that allows us to commercialize quickly. So we got that. MCY is Malaysia Commercialization Year. I think you know that. Every year they had that for Mostly. And also Mostly has this NTIS Sandbox Fund, where we created another sub-product that has the facial recognition for VR, contact tracing, etc. Nanti kalau nak tanya lebih lanjut, I can actually explain that in detail. Yeah. What we have in our suite of solutions, I dah mention juga tadi. So everything that covers pre, during, and post event. Okay, so these are some of the things that we have lah, including tadi facial recognition I mentioned, registration, payment gateway, virtual platform, contact tracing. So contact tracing was really popular during pandemic. Now the endemic dah tak ada contact tracing dah. So we switched that into attendee tracking. So attendees now can be tracked. Kita ada facial recognition. You can track them in many ways lah, mobile app dan sebagainya. This year we are going more towards sustainability. So kita punya tagline pun dah ubah sikit. Right now, we are not just providing technology, but we are giving a more sustainable and experiential event technology. So people who are with us, they know that they are not just going to get technology, but if they go with us, they are creating a more sustainable event, and the event will be more engaging. Okay, engaging, personalizable. So this will give a better experiential or a better experience to all of the event stakeholders. Okay, before I go to the next slide, let's go back to where is slide tu tadi. In the meantime, ada soalan tak? Because my Slido, okay, just crash. Okay, good question. Let me share balik screen. See, dah ada soalan. Dah ada soalan, best sikit. Tak ada soalan, kita tanya soalan. Okay, how do you define sustainable tech? Sustainability has big definition. Okay, to me, if you are following the 17 or 18 SDG, kan, Sustainable Development Goals, as long as your technology can fulfill any of the criteria in that UN punya SDG, then to me it is you can basically call yourself a sustainable tech. But how do we define sustainable tech? It is as simple as when we even started again. Our goal is to move people from doing manual things to automation. Sekarang ni orang panggil apa? Digitization lah kan, digitalization. So the entire country is now talking about let's digitalize SMEs, going to IR 4.0. These are all the names that we are giving to make it more, sexy lah kan. But to me, technology is to encourage more automation, going from manual. And manual, if you know manual, it is majority of the time is paper-based. Okay, so when you move things from paper to non-paper, ataupun paper less, a bit less using paper than what they used to be, that itself is a first step to going to a sustainable journey. Kan? So technology by default sebenarnya has that element already. Okay, so we started from there, but of course nowadays we look more into carbon footprint tracking. Okay, so in events, kalau you tahu, a lot of the time people are traveling. Kan? If it is an international event, they are flying in and out. Kalau even local event, you are commuting, bawa kereta, petrol dan sebagainya. A lot of food is being wasted. So all of these things are increasing the number of carbon that we are releasing to the atmosphere. Okay, so how can technology in events reduce this? So this is where we give awareness, we allow them to track, to offset, to inset. So the talk about sustainability, technology, and even in other industries, this one itself can take another whole big session. Okay, but we want to start somewhere. Okay, for us, 2022, we will start the journey, but hopefully in the next 10 years, 20 years, we are going towards net zero carbon events using technology. Net zero, bukan carbon neutral. Okay, net zero is basically you know your carbon that you are releasing, but you do certain things to offset or inset it. Okay, so that's my basic definition of sustainable technology. Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, a lot of questions coming in. Continuous tech not limited to certain period. Okay, that is not a question, I suppose. That is just a statement. Continuous tech not limited to certain period. That's okay. Will digitalization affect available jobs since bit by bit it is replaced by machines? This is a very popular question, and a lot of people ask this because they see this as a threat. Kan kalau kita buat SWOT analysis, whenever we do our proposal, kita always tengok the opportunities and threats. Tapi kalau kita always look at threats, we don't see the opportunities. Okay, so it's good to know the threat, so you know that with digitalization, a lot of the manual jobs will be replaced by machines lah, right? But what can now humans do that machines cannot do? We always have to ask that. I give you an example kan in events because it is my industry kan. When we introduce technology, masa pandemic kan, when people are so used to do physical events and then pandemic tak boleh buat, now they turn into virtual. So bila buat virtual, a lot of these manual things ataupun events on the ground punya jobs are no longer required. You don't need a venue, betul tak? When you do virtual event, you can do like this. I do not need to go to your ITM, or you do not need to book a hall or a classroom to listen to this session. So Webex is now a venue. Okay, does that really affect the job? Definitely, if your main income is coming from venues. But what can you do now? Always ask that question. Like the opportunities that you can now create from having that new technology. So venues can now turn into hybrid style of events. Kan? Because people still require face-to-face interaction. Kan? So right now, after the reopening of MCO, now going into endemic dan sebagainya, a lot more new jobs are being created. So bila virtual ni, it's not actually easy tau. This kind of event is very easy because there is no need to do recording, there is no need to do proper shooting. Kita just guna a basic setup at home, laptop, dan jalan. Tapi if you do a real conference, you can't work like that. Okay, when you do hybrid, where people is on the ground at your hall and you need to stream it live to people in the US or people in China or people in Japan. So you need a different type of people to manage that session. You need a crew of people to be able to create, edit, to put in a lot of effects at the back. So you're creating new job opportunities for those who are quick to learn these skills. Okay, so what I'm saying is that look at the opportunities rather than looking at, oh, my job is going to be taken. Because trust me, at the end of the day, whatever that we do, we can even have an AI or a robotic lecturer in the future, can, or a robotic researcher in the future. But will that replace you? I don't think so, because there's also other parts that robots still cannot do that requires us to actually the emotion, the creativity, the arts. So a lot of things are irreplaceable. Um, uh, so I hope that will answer that question. Ada lagi tak? Latest question. Oh, sikit. Ui, banyak. Okay, let's mark. Dia tak mark. Okay, dah kita mark dulu. Dah. Okay. Engage the client to be part of ecosystem journey. Objective equals log customer. Client engagement. So, just to share with you, kita in our company, when we first started, it was just me and my wife. So, yalah, everything's using our own money, kan? So, we don't employ people. So, the first year when we first started, kita work from kedai mamak, kan? Kalau ada masa extra sikit, maybe kalau jumpa klien, kita pergi Starbucks. We don't even have an office. Until after we raise our second round from Cradle, where they require us to actually have a physical office. So in 2011, baru kita actually went and rented a place dekat Technology Park. Okay, so when we started to have an office, then we started to employing people. Okay, so the first few years, we are very, very small. We keep it very, very lean. But what we realize is that we cannot do everything on our own because we are the developer, we are the marketer, sometimes we have to go back to the drawing board, research some of the requirements. We are the salesperson, we are the customer support, kan? So everything we do from end to end. But what we realize is once you started having customers, you really have to take care of them. And this is what I think the thing that you are showing, that you're seeing right now on Slido is that client engagement. Okay, to ensure they're gonna be with you, you're gonna retain them as long as you can. Okay, sebabnya client right now is very, very smart, kan? They have many options on the table. So it's very rare nowadays that you're saying that you are the first in the world or you're the first in Malaysia to provide such product or such services. Very, very rare. So client very smart, and Google is also smart. Google will give you answer to almost everything. Kan? So pricing, competition, right? So what's going to be your advantage? It's how you satisfy that client's needs. Yeah, the ability to support them immediately when they're having problems. They do know that if you're a startup, certain things, hiccups will happen. That's normal. It's not going to be a perfect product. So if you're striving for perfection, you're definitely not gonna get that lah. Okay. So you go with MVP. They understand that. They go with you because they are willing to take risks as well. They know that they're giving you an opportunity. But one thing you have to realize is you have to fix whatever problems that you're facing immediately. Yeah. Even if they call you at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, in events, it's even worse. Sometimes they don't sleep closer to the events, right? So client engagement is super important once you have them. Yeah, once you have a proper product, you just start at the first client, because retaining is tougher, kan? I mean, losing clients, yeah, this is very tough because you took a lot of time trying to get them on board, trying to close the deal. Okay, so to be part of the ecosystem journey, good. Describing the step of doing market validation. Can we show our wireframe to potential customer respondent during market validation? Awesome, I like this. This is one of the things yang I always tell startups, kan, that has a fantastic idea and they think the idea is gonna change the world, gonna be the next Apple, gonna be the next Microsoft. Good to have that confidence. But then if you don't do enough market validation, it is going to destroy you. Okay, especially when you start to sell. Okay, the step sebenarnya a lot of steps to do it properly. Tapi I'll share with you how we do it lah. Back in the days when we first started, it's all about going to the ground, okay, and trying to understand the problem. Okay, you tak boleh assume the problem is what you think is in your head. Okay, so for example, in my case, we had a problem ourselves when we are managing our own wedding, where a lot of the times when we are sending RSVP, people tak respond. Kan, you kena follow up, you kena, masa tu kat kahwin orang still hantar physical kot. Nowadays, I think I've seen a lot of people are starting to send digital RSVP. Tapi dulu-dulu semua mesti dekat kahwin. Lepas tu kena, you dah lah, you spend, dia tak jawab, you letak tarikh pun dia tak reply kan. And then if you are doing it in a hall, you need to have a certain numbers by a certain time so that you can finalize the booking. So who are the stakeholders that are having these problems? You have to go on the ground, talk to as many people as you can. Okay, this is, orang kata busuk-busuk pun pergi kat padang, go to the ground and ask them, is that a real problem? Okay, if they see it as a problem, okay, and then of course you can do a survey, you can send, but then the best way is to go and talk to people. That's the best market validation, and then record it. And if you are talking about sample size, I don't have the right numbers, but the more you can talk, 50, 100, 200, the better the validation is going to be. Okay, really depends on your the niche lah. Kalau is sometimes certain ideas, certain product is very hard to find the market, kan? But you really need to find that market. Sebab until you understand the problem, then only you can find the solution. Because most of us, especially those who are not experiencing the problem, okay, maksudnya you nampak, baca kat internet, nampak orang tu ada problem lah, so you suddenly think you have that solution, but it's not your problem yet. So go to the ground, talk to the people, understand the problem, and make sure it is a real problem lah. It's not a fantasy problem. Okay, wireframe ni dah later process. Wireframe is when you already know the problem and now you're designing the solution. It's not the other way around. It's not you design a solution and then show them and validate. Is this a good solution? The problem is they're going to tell you, I don't have a problem. Why are you giving me a solution? No matter how fantastic is your wireframe. Okay, so entrepreneurs, normally the challenge is they have fantastic solutions, but bila dia nak jual tu dia tak boleh because they did not hit the right problem, orang kata apa, problem statement. So market validation is actually to validate that you have a market. The problem really exists. Okay, so wireframe is the later part. Okay, but once you dah validate dan sebagainya, now you designing the solution. Dah nampak dah, okay, solution nak buat macam ni. Okay, kalau kita nak buat web, nak buat mobile, whatever it is, let's design the wireframe. And then baru kita tunjuk dekat. That is the later stage. Okay, I hope I'm clear in that. So, market validation is not one time. It will happen many times. Okay, so the first step is to go on the ground. You dah tahu, dah kenal dia orang, and then you dah ada solution, dah boleh design the wireframe. You can go again and then show them whether will this solve the problem that you're having. How many potential customers respondents are needed during market validation before we start developing our MVP? Okay, tadi pun I mentioned that I don't have a specific numbers, but it really depends on how niche your market is. I give you an example of Grab. Okay, everybody needs a ride, but nobody actually can foresee that. The problem was at the point in time was on demand, kan? Where you can have any ride to any destination as and when you need, easily on the tip of your fingers. Okay, so for that particular case, the market is big. You can find a lot of customers. And you boleh duduk masa tu belum ada ni, a lot of taxi stands are very fill up with people. So the riders can be your market respondents. The drivers can be your market respondents. So the more you talk to, the conclusive your validation is going to be. Tapi in certain cases where you are in a very niche market, maybe 50 respondents is enough. Maybe 100 respondents is enough. Okay, as long as you know the solution that you're going to build, going to fulfill that problem. And when you're raising funds, the next challenge is they will always ask you how big is your market lah. So anything that is niche is good. Cumanya whether or not you can convince the investors pula, which we'll cover next after this, which is securing funds, is going to be tougher because investors, they need to see returns quickly. So if your market size is not big, kan maksudnya nak pergi luar negara susah. Nak even expand luar daripada Klang Valley pun susah. Kan? But then you have a market. But then you need to take maybe 10, 20 years, 30 years. So investors cannot wait. So sometimes you don't get investments or you are not able to raise funds. Bukannya sebab your product is not good. Bukannya sebab you are not fulfilling the problem. But sometimes it's because the market size is too small for them to get immediate returns. Sebab investors are basically managing other people's money juga. So we have to understand from that perspective. So like I said, the market validation size is really based on the size of the market you're attacking later on. So the bigger the respondents, better. Always the answer is better. You can get few hundreds, good. And then don't stop. Continue asking for more validation. What is an ideal percentage should we consider to early adopters from market size? What do you mean? What an ideal percentage should we consider to early adopters for market size? Ideal percentage early adopters for market size. Okay, maksudnya from the entire market size, what would be the number of early adopters that you need, right? I won't say percentage, but to me, as long as you are able to create supporters, okay, which is early adopters lah. But tak boleh lah satu, kan? Tak boleh lah dua. Sebab this one can be your friends and families. So try to find real clients, okay, real adopters that are willing to pay as well. Because the challenge here is, a lot of the times, kalau perasan sekarang ada banyak model freemium kan? You give something for free first, then you charge premium. So if you try to hit the numbers of early adopters based on your traction of free users, maybe nombor cantik. Maybe when you start giving it up for free, you can basically get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 free users ataupun free downloads nowadays when you do iOS or Android apps. Kan? So you're so happy that I have so many early adopters. Betul. Betul. But can you convert them to the next plan? Ataupun when is it, what's the turning point for them to actually start paying for your product? Because we had that problem. This is the story, because we had that challenge because we thought we had good number of early adopters in our wedding solution at the very beginning of kita punya journey. And people are saying, yes, the product is good, it solves my problem, it solves my pain points. We can now manage invitations digitally better, those kind of things. So we were happy, kita dapat testimonials, and we bring these testimonials to raise funds. Okay, but then we started to see, kenapa tak ada orang convert ni? Why is it that people are so happy to use it for free, but once we start to charge 50 ringgit a month or even 100 ringgit or maybe 150 kan, people are not converting. Okay, so this is where you start looking at other ways or pivot to a better business model. Okay, so I don't have the ideal percentage, but what I'm trying to say here is that try to find paid users with a convincing utilization of whatever that you're doing, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, that can be your champion. Okay, so after we had that challenges, we pivoted. So we, instead of wedding, we look into other type of events. Sebab wedding ni challenge dia is this, tell you what, because wedding is B2C. Okay, how many of you will think of a budget for your wedding to allocate a bit on technology? Ada tak? Tak ada. Bila wedding je fikir pasal baju, fikir pasal venue, kan? Fikir pasal yalah, hiasan-hiasan, gambar, fotografi, right? Nak spend on technology tak? Tak ada. Not many lah we spend. Kalau ada pun maybe if I can get free, I use free. Kalau maybe dalam RM10 ke apa, maybe boleh lah kopi macam tu kan. So the market is not willing to pay. Why are you pushing yourself for that particular market even though it is huge? Right? So we decided for us to survive is to pivot to a bigger market, to a B2B market, where we can really charge our clients. Okay, so this is where we started attacking government agencies, MNCs, GLCs, kan? We do guerrilla marketing lah. So we send proposals, we send emails. So out of 100 that we send, maybe dapat satu atau dua. Betul? Kan? One or two. But then, out of that 100, one close, and they became, ataupun that organization became our early adopter and champion. Champion meaning because it was successfully used and deployed, other agencies or other ministries and companies basically use that as a success stories lah, to get them on board. Okay, but I have to be honest with you lah, because we are a Malaysian company, sometimes it is tougher. Okay, so another interesting way is for you to test it maybe overseas, and because I've seen people doing this as well. Get a client overseas, right? Make them your champion. Datang Malaysia lagi senang nak jual sebenarnya. Okay, so there are two ways to look into it. Best practice for validation, specific target market or general? Validation. Look at your market size. Who are your users? Yeah, who are your basically the solutions that you're providing is for which market, right? So there's no right or wrong to this. It could be niche. In my case, it is very niche. If I tell you that my market is MICE, M-I-C-E, how many of you know what is MICE? And meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibition. It is actually part of tourism, hospitality, kan? Okay, so it is very niche. General, it could be public, tak ada masalah. Grab has a very big market. Everybody needs a ride. AirAsia, everybody needs to fly. Okay, so really depends. I cannot say niche is good or better, but it's really depends on your solution. What is the best or easiest revenue model that we could adopt as beginner? It's not about the okay lah, you can look at some of the research and statistics, because a lot of companies have different type of revenue models. Things have changed as well over the years. Kita nampak certain times at the very early 2010 to 2015, a lot of freemium models, kan? A lot of subscription, pay as you use, kan? By number of seats, by number of packs. So all of these things really depend at the end of the day at your solution and your market. Okay. In our case, I can only say that because we are very niche, we started with a very flat fee, a flat annual fee, unlimited events, because we just want to grab as many market share as we want. So we are basically underselling or underpricing our solution. Okay. But then we realize our competitors in the States, in Singapore even, they're using a different model, which make them a bit premium, you see. Sometimes premium is good. And you cannot be the cheapest, you see. Because sometimes when you're selling things based on price, the cheapest will win, then you'll have a lowest margin. So this is where we started to see that we have to position ourselves at the premium level so that our clients feel they are a premium client. They are being served at a premium level, and we can charge a premium fee. Okay, so that's where we started to learn as well. Okay, again, look at your market. Look at the way to enter the market quickly. It could be free. I think you can see for if you're using mobile app as an example, especially games or even productivity apps, they always give things for free, simply because you want the number of users as your traction for you to raise funds. Sebabnya bila you nak raise to angels or VCs later on, the first thing they will ask you is how many users do you have right now? Sebabnya you nak jual, you tak nak bagi free, kita ada only 2 users, 2 clients who are paying. Tak best lah kan? So this is the reason why you see a lot of the apps download for free, but then you have to pay for certain things. In-app punya purchase. Even for web applications pun, they have a lot of next level upgrade kan. YouTube free, a lot of the Spotify free. But then a lot of interesting or premium things you have to pay. So easiest could be that route to get the number of users. Okay, then try to convert. All right. How difficult it is to teach your customers at the beginning, given your new revenue model. Customer might not use to pay for kad kahwin, for example. So true. It is very difficult. Super difficult, I must say. If you are in the industry that is not willing to change. Okay, so there are certain industries that can be disrupted easily because the pain is so real. Dia macam tu tau. If the pain is not so real, in our case it's not so real lah kot. Kita dah buat market validation, but they can still get by without that. For example, kad kahwin tu lah, right? People still need the physical touch. Those days, kan, they still want to keep it as a souvenir maybe. Kan, sebab orang kawan rapat ke, saudara mara ke. So they still prefer the printed version. So that might cause them to adopt it or adapt it a bit later, slower in adoption. So it is tough. So then you have to think of whether you can play the long-term game lah, meaning education, educate, with the hope that in 2, 3, 4 years down the road, the market will change. The market will adopt faster, which is why some of the first mover is not always a successful one. So in business, it's all about coming in at the right time with the right solution. Grab was not the first in our market. Kita ada, at that point in time, we have, I think, Taxi Monger, a lot of other new ride hailing. So Grab came in maybe second or third. Okay, but the time that they came in was right. There was a lot of investors. People are really not happy with the current way of using taxi. Charges were high, not enough promo codes. Drivers are not getting incentives. So when you are putting in a lot of things that is solving the pain, you're giving incentives to the drivers, for example, to Grab kan. They are enjoying a lot of benefits sebenarnya at the very beginning. So you're changing you're disrupting the ecosystem. So it is faster for them to adopt. So the more you are able to get out of the ecosystem quickly, then your customer is willing to learn. Sometimes certain things they will learn on their own because of this FOMO experience lah. Their fear of missing out. If everyone around you is using Grab at that point in time, takkan you seorang tak tahu apa tu Grab. So you will download Grab. Kan? Do you need a Grab guy in the HQ to call you, tuan macam ni download, lepas tu buka, lepas tu sign in? No need, because you are now looking at making it a better user experience. Easy, kan? Klik, sign, dapat OTP, okay, dah boleh masuk, nampak user experience, senang nak book, boleh bayar easily, kan? So those are how we try to get kita punya customers or users to adopt the solution quickly. Wah, semua suka cerita kenduri kahwin ni. Okay, good. For example, people have to select time slot for coming to kenduri. I think it is difficult to educate them. But anyway, your customer is tuan rumah then. Yeah, betul. So time slot coming to kenduri, again, this is culture lah. Yeah, culture. Every wedding is different. I know certain people, they are very strict on this. So yeah, it is really up to the organizer lah at the end of the day. Especially if you're doing in a hall, in a sitting style, kan, where you want people to come at certain dates, masa MCO lagi tough, kan, because a certain numbers of people can come. So this is where you do that kind of time slot restrictions. So yeah, I think a lot of these things require technology to assist, and this is where I think people are more comfortable, because they know that during MCO pun or pandemic time pun, I'm not comfortable going into a wedding where I do not know what's the capacity. I would just turn it down. But if I see an invitation and see slots, and basically I know that only 20 packs at a time or 50 packs at a time, and there is a social distancing. This is last year, 2020, 2021 lah kan. Then I'm more comfortable to attend. Okay, and with this, you can use technology rather than a paper-based card. Susah kan nak tulis slot dalam card dan sebagainya kan. So yeah, I think time has changed, and COVID has taught us a lot in terms of moving not just virtual but other things that we had to do. We need technology to assist. You're talking about business model canvas, kan? BMC as a beginner. I think there are many ways. BMC is definitely the best. But like I said, innovation, not a company yet. Yeah, you don't need a company yet. You can do BMC at any point in time. Okay, as long as you have an idea, you can even start with your BMC. You identify je dulu who are your what's your revenue model, who are your clients, who are your partners, what's your business model. Kan dia ada 7 areas, kan? So I think BMC is a good start, but not the only one lah. Okay, so you do not need a company. Company ni at the end of the day is a vehicle for you to really get your innovation out there. As in, if you need to sell, you need to engage a client, because they cannot engage you as a person, kan? It's not reliable enough. Then you become like a freelancer. You don't own that. So you need a proper organization, and this is where a company will come in. And the Sendirian Berhad is the best way to have that. Okay. Wow, good. Apa? Keep them coming. I'm gonna now ask you pula. I just want to know, right now, out of all the people that are here in Webex, at which stage are you at now? Okay, since a lot of questions are looking at market validation, BMC, so I have a feeling that majority of you are at the first stage, but I do not know. Baru 3 orang jawab. So let me know where you are at. Wow, the numbers have increased. We started around 20, now dah dekat 60. Amazing. So I might be getting a lot more questions in the next 1 hour. Ideation, conceptualization, good. While you are still answering, I know that ideation stage is the most interesting and I would say the most fun time, because this is where you can get as crazy as you want, right? And then this is the time where you feel that you're on top of the world, your idea is the best, no one else in the world has the idea, right? To me, that is good. That is good. But that the success of any innovation, any company, really boils down to execution, not just ideation. Okay, so we have to understand that. And this is one of the reasons why I say you should not be afraid of sharing your idea. Okay, a lot of people, because they felt that this needs to be protected. And this is where I know from institution education side, people always talk about I need to patent, I need to get something quickly, right? But the process is lengthy. Okay, you need a lot of money. So let's do that so that other people cannot do whatever that we have, or cannot steal whatever that we have. True in a way, but because of this again threat that we put in, sebab kita dah biasa that we have to protect what's us first instead of sharing, we tend to be orang kata we can't move much. We tend to not expand the ideas because of this lack of sharing, right? But if you're open enough to say that, hey, I have an idea, can I share that with you? I just want to get a different point of view, and you talk to as many people as you can. Doesn't matter, someone else can take your idea, kan? But how you gonna do the next 3 portion tu, the MVP, commercialization, and then you're gonna expand and grow the innovation. That's the most important thing. As I mentioned, the first mover will not always win, kan? So your idea, especially those yang selalu pergi hackathon kan, menang hackathon, but where are they after that? Normally hackathon, I'm not sure, I should have that question, kan? How many of you have joined hackathons? But joining is good, it's exposure. I encourage you to join hackathons. But normally hackathons, people are coming from all different backgrounds. Sometimes they're still working, they're not committed yet, but they have so many good, fantastic ideas. Within 1 or 2 days, you have to produce certain prototypes. And you want maybe 5,000, 10,000 trophies and everything. But what happened after that is you can't really do anything else. You can't expand because you're not committed to the cause. Okay, so you disbanded, the group disbanded, and then the idea went away. It is not even it was not even commercialized. You can't even really build on that success. So what I'm saying is ideation is just a process that we should not be afraid to talk about it, to share, to learn from others. Yeah, and always believe that someone else have done it lah. Dulu I pun fell under the trap. I thought I was the first one. In fact, maybe in Malaysia lah kot. So that was our pitch. We're the first event management solution in Malaysia at that point in time, kan. But of course, we know there are many others in the States, in the UK. So as you Google nowadays, a lot of the time there will be competitors out there. Okay, so thank you for those who have answered the question, at which stage are you now? I'm glad that actually out of 13 people yang jawab, I think about 20% is already growing and expanding that. Okay, and I think about 30% is at ideation, an equal number of in MVP. MVP is minimum viable product. I think you guys know that already. And at the commercialization stage. Okay, good. Next. Okay, let's look at grants lah. Okay. Before we talk about other type of funds. So grants is something that a lot of us would love to get, simply because they are the sort of like no commitment. Not really lah. Certain nowadays grants have a lot of commitments. Used to be like grant of free money, and I don't believe that anymore. I think nowadays our government, our agencies are getting smarter. A lot more restrictions are put in place, okay, so that people don't abuse this. Okay, so this is an open-ended question. Okay, so I just want to know what are the current and past of these funds and grants in Malaysia or overseas, saya tak tahu, that you have heard of. Ada tak? This one tak ada option. Because this one I want to know juga. Kok kalau ada yang baru ke kan, then I also can learn. This is the time for you to share. Cradle, the famous one. Ada lagi? This is agency, tapi Cradle ada a lot of grants under there kan. Mostly pun is again it is a ministry, ada banyak grant bawah tu. So if you guys have the specific name, will be good to share also. Sebab kalau orang yang first time datang dengar di session, dia ingat mesti grant tu apa? Cradle grant tu apa? Kan, tapi if you have the specific name of the grant, that is very good to share. Ada tak grant from other, I don't know. Tu baru tu, I tak pernah dengar. SAP SIDEC, MDEC, MTDC, CREST. Good. What is SAP SIDEC? SIDEC yang Selangor tu Nanti I Google kejap SAP SIDEC. Lagi. Wow, a lot. SME Digitalization Grant. True. You were involved as well in that. SAP SIDEC. What else? 4 orang je rajin participate. Kita ada berapa ni? Maybe the other 50 packs ni dia tak masuk Slido kot. Okay guys, if you want to join and have fun and sharing this information, feel free to click on the link in the chat box, in the Webex chat box tu, or ada QR code that you can scan. So if you're on laptop, you use your phone, you scan, so you can do this Slido on your phone. Pun boleh. Angel investor, okay? That is a type of investment that you can get for your funds. Lagi tak? Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you for these 4 participants who have been giving a lot of answers. MY WIT, WIT. Wah, Yayasan Petronas, TED Mostly Grant, MDEC, ramai orang jawab. Good. Ada lagi tak? 7 orang. Lagi apa? But a lot of these things pun I have never heard. Macam I saw my WIT somewhere, but I do not know what it is all about. TED Mostly Grant, SAP SIDEC pun macam pernah nampak, but I do not know the details. Begitu. SRF Mostly, SRF. Okay, SRF Mostly Grant. Deskera. So when you are sharing this, you see, people who are attending the session, easy enough. You guys can just Google, right? Because I don't claim to know everything. So you can take a screenshot, and because the more you know about what's available in the ecosystem, it is easier for you to plan for your fundraising activities. Because in business, you have an innovation is good, but how you're going to grow your company, how you can ensure that you're able to have a good cash flow for you to hire, for you to further innovate, for you to sell, for you to market, you need money, guys. This is where the ability to understand what's available for us. Okay. Banyak dah tu. Teraju, okay. So Google these guys up. I'll share some of the experience that I've had with some of these grants after this, and hopefully you are able to secure your funds, not to say easily lah, but hopefully with the right approach you are able to secure the right funding for your ventures. Okay, good. Last question. Okay, need to know this. Which of these fundraising options have you heard before? Again, it's a multiple choice, and you can also choose more than one. I'll have to explain a bit sebab I guna short form. Okay, FFF tu tak? Siapa tahu apa tu FFF? FFF ni in the startup world kita panggil family, friends, apa satu lagi F? Fools. Yeah, these are the first people that you turn to when you need money, right? The one that will always say that your idea is the most brilliant idea in the whole wide world. Your family, friends, and fools. So it's not wrong. Then you can always pitch to them. And if you're coming from a wealthy family, can wealthy friends or wealthy fools, you can always get money from them. So that, okay? So FFF. Don't forget that because the option is there, guys. Yeah, no, if you don't explore that, rugi lah. What is VC? We know it's a venture capitals. Tadi ada orang mention angel, so angel investors is there. Grants, loans. P2P pernah dengar tak P2P? P2P right now is quite famous. It's peer-to-peer lending. Peer-to-peer lending, ada a lot of companies are doing that. Kita ada isi apa funding tu Okay, one is called funding societies. Yeah, funding societies. So companies can actually raise funds from the public. So the public is not actually taking any equities. They are just lending you money. So you can use that money to settle your invoices and then on a certain period, you have to return that money back through that platform. Okay, so P2P is one of an option. ECF, dah dengar Equity crowdfunding. So this is where you get money from the public juga, tapi you are taking some equity. Meaning you have to give to your business owner. Once you receive the fund, a certain part of your company has to be given to the public lah. So you are basically giving your shares, your equities to the public. ECF. So ada banyak platform juga. Ada pitch in, etc. Okay, IPO, you know lah, go listed. So let's see, yang paling banyak orang dengar is for grants lah. Semua orang, almost 80% of you here know what is a grant. Loan, quite straightforward, business loan. Then it's all about the interest and also sometimes collaterals. So whatever that you take, you have to pay back on a monthly basis. Okay. Interesting, yeah. The lowest apa? IPO. IPO is a long road lah. Okay. Once you go public, of course, your company is listed. But then again, you would not go IPO immediately when you're starting a business. Normally, you would look at, kalau first time baru nak masuk to business, you will look at FFF. You would look at maybe grants and angels. Okay, and angels. Nowadays, ada yang juga dah pergi ke ECF or P2P. Okay, but normally you need traction juga lah. You need traction. So until a certain stage, I think you can then start looking at VCs for round A kan, series A, series B, series C dan sebagainya. Okay, good. 12 orang jawab. Ada satu soalan, maybe this one came in while we were doing the polling. At what stage should be filed for IP after MVP? What type of IP Question is what type of IP. Sebab different type of IP, they will require different things lah. For our side, we are a technology company, we have a solution. We don't have a patent because majority of our software, they are not patentable. But we are allowed to trademark, we are allowed to do copyright. So as soon as we know our brand, I think that was, during the first year going into second year lah, kita dah ada a clear brand, we know already the direction of we're going, and we know that the name is not going to be changed for the next 10 to 20 years, EVENESIS as a brand, then we quickly file for trademark. Okay. Copyrights is, again, based on what you have. So if it is a software, it's your source codes. So website, again, source codes, mobile app, source codes. So that copyrights can be filed at any point in time, as long as you have your versioning right lah. So to me, once you are at version 1, so your MVP can be your version 1. ataupun your MVP could be a beta version, depends on how you're gonna call it lah. Maybe not version 1 yet, maybe version 0.9 or 0.8 ke kan. But if you feel comfortable enough to file a copyright on that, go for it. To me, it's just a protection. And I also have seen a case where copyrights actually doesn't hold much, because nowadays a lot of things can be very similar and easily copied, right? Even though the source code is different, because what you see on the web, you can easily figure out what would be, unless there is a logic, there is a formula behind the scene lah. Okay, but it's good to have, okay, as a last layer of protection. Trademark is much easier because it's a name, kan, design trademark, your logo, your company name, kan, so that when you there's nobody else that can claim that you are EVENESIS 1 year down the road. Okay, I think for patent, I will leave it to those who are at the R&D stage, who you have a lot more things that are patentable. Can I think until a certain stage you are required to file, but I think the process is longer. So yeah, I think based on that, you should be able to know when you can file your IP. But best to talk is to macam IP kat Malaysia ni is, I mean, I use IP, my own IP lawyer lah. But kalau nak pergi to my IPO directly, it's good also, because they have people over there that can advise you. Okay. ABC, fundraising. Okay. Dia sebenarnya nama je, ABCD, so that people know that you are going through a series of funds, and normally dia categorized by the size and size of the deal. Ada banyak definition. There is no fixed one. I would see A as in between 1 to 5 million. Sometimes people can also categorize it between 1 to 10, kan, 5 to 20. So that is normally after you dah done your seed round. Seed round is normally anything below 1 mil lah. Okay, so after that you go with Series A. Series B is definitely after Series A. So once you dah raise, let's say 5 to 10 million, the next one you want to raise is maybe 20 to 50 or 20 to 100 million. That's B. And then C could be between 50 to 100 or 50 to 200 million. And then after that, it could be Series C1, C2, or Series D. Again, it goes up and up until even to $1 billion, where you can then call yourself a unicorn lah. Right? So, I mean, sorry, the $1 billion is the valuation of your company. It's not the fundraising. So, for example, you can raise fund at Series C or D. Normally you'll get around $200 or $300 million of funds that you have raised, that make your company valuation goes up to $1 billion, and automatically you're a unicorn lah. Okay, so that's how people basically say lah. It's just good for your PR je, and people know, oh, you dah ni, so you're raising that much. Okay, so it's the amount that you are raising. How should we value our company or our MVP IP? Company valuation is tricky, especially when you are trying to raise funds. Yeah, this is also another topic that will take a long time to cover, but this is one of my mentors punya book, which I will promote right now. Startup Valuation, Supercharge. So this book was recently launched and written by Dr. Siva. So you can find this on Amazon, or later, if any of you would like to get a copy, it's about 60 ringgit. So it gives you a detailed way of how you can value company at every stage, whether you are startup, whether you are a growing company, different stages, different type of way you can value the company. But at MVP boleh, normally boleh. Normally at MVP you can raise a pre-seed or even angel, but the way they value you is a bit maybe on your team composition, because you are not having clients yet, and you tak ada sales lagi, kan? So they cannot forecast that. So they have to look at your past experience. Maybe you have done a different company before. So there are so many ways to value a company at different stage. So this book is one of them lah, for you to check it out.
What is my opinion on crowdfunding, which seems trending now? My opinion, Okay. My opinion. It's one of the ways. Okay. It doesn't suit everybody, or it doesn't suit any company. It really depends on what you're looking for. Okay, and how sexy you can position yourself to the public. Crowdfunding is more for public sebenarnya. Of course, you have some of your private investors coming in already, but you are trying to position yourself and your product or your services so that the public can understand what you're doing. If your business is very hard for them to understand, especially if you're in B2B. I'm not saying B2B is hard to raise fund from crowd, but if you are B2C, it's much easier and more sexier. Macam Kickstarter lah, barang-barang kat Kickstarter kan. Kalau you have been to kickstarter.com, a lot of the times they are building innovative products that are relevant to you, that you can use. And so that when you are raising fund, you know already part of the thing is once the product is ready, you'll get that product as well. Okay, so if you position the innovation, the solution that is relevant to the crowd who is actually going to listen to your videos, your pitch on a certain platform, then higher chances that your crowdfunding is going to be a success lah. That's how I'm going to put it. But if you are selling, for example, software to multinationals, to GLCs, yep, of course your revenue can be quite high. Tapi if the public or the crowd is struggling to understand your business model, apa benda yang dia buat sebenarnya ni? Kan? So high chances that they are not going to invest. Okay? So the reason why it exists is because now you are giving a new avenue for companies to go and raise fund. Number two, you are giving the public, kan? People who have money, guys. A lot of people out there, they have money and they want to invest, right? Other than other investment vehicle. So they want to own a bit of your company. So now they can, even though a 0.0001% of the company pun, who knows, 5 years down the road, the company become a unicorn. Can your whatever investment that you put in now becomes millions. Okay, so that's your chance. Okay, so it's good. So to me, it's good for the ecosystem to have that channel or that type of fundraising, so crowdfunding. Should we raise debt or equity? What do you think? As long as it's a good debt, yeah, not bad debt, meaning loan lah. Nanti part of our journey also you can see that we have never taken a loan before COVID. Okay, and during COVID, we were quite lucky, I would say, Alhamdulillah, that we had a good cash flow that allows us to survive, even though the first, I would say, 6 months, basically we have zero revenues lah in a way. Sebabnya a lot of cancellations of projects, a lot of cancellations of events, postponements because of lockdown dan sebagainya kan. So if you don't have a good cash flow, this is one of the reasons why a lot of businesses cannot sustain. Okay, so when you're running a business, cash flow management is super important so that you know that 6 months or 9 months down the road, if anything happen, unpredictable, something like COVID, you know that you are able to ensure your team is still going to be around, you're still going to be able to pay them, even though nothing is coming in, no income lah. Okay, but what happened last year in 2021 was that we are recovering as well. We're getting events are back. But then if you realize there are a lot of this government loans under penjana, pernah dengar kan? Penjana lah macam-macam. Dia kata SMEs, we allow to, I mean, we want to help you. You can get at a very low interest. So I had my doubts, but then I did my own, again, as a business owner, you will look into all of these terms, conditions, the interest rate. So I did my own study on one of the loans, which is, I think, they call it Penjana TRRF, something relief facility funds. It's a loan, it's a bank loan, up to 500K. And the interest rate was so low. I think they're giving at 3.5%, no collateral, zero collaterals. Normally you need collaterals for loans. And the way I see it, okay, that amount even though you do not need it, you can actually take it and then you can actually use it for other purposes. You can even do investments with that can give you a better or higher return lah. So some of the things, if you feel that you are able to utilize, because if you don't utilize that, basically the money too will I mean the allocation is there for SMEs at that point in time. So you raise that accordingly as and when you need it. Okay. And equity is also something that you should never be afraid to let go lah. Because as and when you raise funds, your investors will need to be in as part of the company. So they will look at how much of the percentage of your equity that you will have to take in return of that money. And that goes your valuation lah. Okay? So sometimes people say it is better to own 10% of a $1 billion company than owning 100% of the company that is worth less than $1 million. Betul tak? Because on paper, you are worth much more, even though you are holding onto a lesser equity. Okay. So do not be afraid of letting go of equity for the sake of raising funds, but be careful. You do not want to dilute your equity as founders, because that will demotivate you as well. Especially if you are the founder or co-founder, you want to keep going tau. You do not want raise satu round je suddenly you punya investor masuk dah pegang 80%, you are holding 20% only. But everything you did from scratch from day one. Diluted everything. So your motivation is lesser. At 20%, what apa lagi? Lepas ni raise lagi, series A new investor ambil lagi. And your 20% become 15%, become 10%. Even though I was saying earlier that 10% or 5% of a $1 billion company is worth much more than that 100% of a less than $1 million company, kan? But you want that motivation to be high. So you must make sure you retain enough equity for you to continue your journey, okay, towards your goal, whatever the end goal is. Okay, that's my take on that equity. How do you set price for your product? We at university got problem of how we set the price for IP licensing and outright. I'm not sure because I have never been in a university, but I do know that it's the IP licensing issue lah kan between universities and also if a company that you are doing. So could be a challenge for you. I honestly do not know yet what can be done about it, but setting a price is all about how market sees or value your product. Okay, to me, number one, you have to understand the market lah. Sebab kalau you know the market is selling at I do not know, 50 ringgit a piece, and then suddenly you come out and sell it at 500 a piece without any strong USP, very hard lah. Okay, but I do know that some cup of coffee, sorry, the cup the mug ni, okay, normally Starbucks maybe jual mug ni dalam 50-80 ringgit. But I've seen a company, I've met the founder, a Malaysian, but he launched a very special mug in Melbourne. Okay, so that people think of the brand as a Melbourne based, but it is actually Malaysian based lah. And then sell it back in Malaysia around 225 ringgit. And then they create a very beautiful story, kan, the quality is nice, so the USP is strong. Okay, so if you have a strong USP, you can position it at a premium punya pricing. So it really depends on you. Okay, but don't oversell lah. Kan, don't oversell as in you are selling more than what the product can do. Itu dah kira to me not being honest lah. So if that's the case, you'll be caught quite often lah. And then it's even worse because your brand will be affected, the name. So set it at a very a good price, entry price, and maybe make few plans lah, as in packages, because everybody has different needs. Kan, macam in our case, certain companies maybe do one event in a year, but a lot of companies are doing multiple events in a month. Kan, so the more events you do, maybe the lesser you pay. Kan, ataupun it depends on the number of packs. Okay, so this is where you really understand your market. You have to go deep into how your market perceives the value of your product. The marketing side of it lah. Kan ada yang 4Ps lah, 5Ps lah nowadays kan, that you learn in marketing. So you have to apply that for your products or services. What is a major requirement for startups from university to apply grants? Again, if the startup is a Sdn Bhd, this is my understanding lah. I'm not sure dalam Sdn Bhd tu how much the university stake is in. Okay, but to me, if it is just a Sdn Bhd, and if the grants basically state that it requires a Sdn Bhd and you must be a Sdn Bhd for you to apply, then to me you qualify lah. Melainkan there is a certain agreement down there bahwa saying that the Sdn Bhd cannot consist of a JV between an individual and a public institution, whatever it is. So to me, every grant is different. You just have to look at the details and the requirements. Okay, so I'm not saying, because this is a general question and every grant is different. There is a certain grant out there that requires public and private partnership juga, where company definitely required to work with a certain universities in order to get that grant. Ada juga kan? So to me, understand the requirements, and these agencies that are giving these grants pun is just a phone call away. Kan? So don't assume. Assuming is easy. Orang ni cerita lah. Aku dengar tadi Cik Yusno ni cakap memang macam ni lah, tak boleh lah. Jangan. To me, when I attended any webinar, people are sharing like this. What I take is, ada grant tu Okay, I'm going to do my own research. Okay, maybe dia cakap macam ni, tapi I'm going to verify it. Okay, because like I said, every agency, every grants are different. They are managed by different people, requirements are different. Go and talk to them. Jangan guna orang tengah. This is also another habit that a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs, they know that, Muhammad A ni kenal lah, dia boleh dapatkan you grant senang. Kita engage dia je lah. That is entrepreneur pemalas. Yeah, a lazy entrepreneur will do that. Cari jalan senang. Please don't, orang kata apa, ambil shortcut. Ambil shortcut is so easy because there are a lot of middle person who will promise you that I will do a fantastic business proposal for you. I will secure a grant for you, but I just need a certain percentage from whatever that I make for you. Because to me, that's not how you're going to learn the process. You have to start building your own business proposals, do your own projections, know the ins and outs. And then the rest will be very much easier for you because you know the process. Kalau tak sampai bila-bila pun, you're going to be relying on this. And then you're going to say that I don't have time lah to do that. Kan? My time is on research only. My time is on product development. But if you want to be a real entrepreneur, you have to know the steps. You have to build your pitch decks on your own. Yeah, you need to be able to present, because once you start submitting into grants, you know kan, the last step is always to do presentation. All right, so that presentation is very important. It's very good for you to be able to communicate your ideas clearly and visually. Because a lot of the times, entrepreneurs, startups came back to me and they said, tak guna lah agency tu. They don't understand what I'm trying to build. Kan? I have a fantastic idea, but they orang ni orang kerajaan, they don't understand. And I'm pretty sure you have done that or you've heard that. Kan? To me, even though they are not entrepreneurs, but they have seen a lot of things. Yeah, and sometimes we ourselves are not delivering that presentation well. Kan? Because we have to be very visual. They have to really see what you're trying to do, and they have to really see the market. And if you are not able to do that, then the fault is all yours lah. So this is where you learn. I mean, I learned all of that as well. I've been rejected, and then I go to a few mentors, ask them to review here, masuk a lot of coaching sessions, kan? A lot of workshops, pitching in front of the crowd, kan? Being asked hard questions. So all of these things will make you, to me, a better entrepreneur and a better person. Okay, can we get...
Sorry to
yes.
interrupt. Mr. Yusno, just to gently remind you that you have 30 minutes lah.
Okay, thank you for the reminder,
Thank you.
Fazlin. Ni dah ada orang tanya email dah nak habis dah ni. Yes, you can get my email. Let me write it down, or later maybe organizer boleh. Ni, my email is straightforward, yusno@evenesis.com. Easier if you can connect or follow me on LinkedIn. You just search for Yusno, YUSNO. You can definitely find me and my face lah. No issue. in your opinion, can start up from university, can survive in a real business environment? Any tips? To me, doesn't matter where you're from, as long as the hunger and the ability to understand or embrace the uncertaintiness and the willingness to shift away from the university punya mindset, then you should be able to survive. Because you know lah, in the real business environment, it's all about competition. It's all about how fast you can move. It's all about rejections. Okay, so if you always have something to fall back on, you always fall back on that. But if you know that this is the only thing that you have on your plate, right, you will be 100% committed. So ask yourself, how committed are you to this cause? Okay, so this is why I say that when I was doing my the wedding software, I was still working, you see. So when you're still working, you're like half. Your commitment maybe even 70-30 on that part. But if you take yourself out, and when you know that you only have savings of maybe 6 months to go, okay, so you know that your time is short, so you are more committed to make sure I need to raise funds maybe in the next 6 months, else this thing won't work. Kan? So at the end of the day, where you're coming from is all about how committed you are to the cause, how willing you are to learn in that environment and make mistakes. Okay, I don't see any entrepreneurs that can be successful without making mistakes. I know people have been successful by minimizing mistakes. So this session is the same thing that I always go as well. I attended other sessions from other entrepreneurs who share their mistakes so that I don't repeat that mistakes. So my learning become faster. Tapi kalau you are not willing to learn that, then you will make mistakes that you can already minimize or you don't have to do sebenarnya in the first place. Okay, so definitely the answer to this question is definitely you can survive. It's all about commitment. It's all about the idea, the product, uh, the market validation, kan, the variables that we've been talking about lah throughout this session. The so many things that are involved in businesses. Kita just have to find, dia macam jigsaw puzzles kan, trying to fit the pieces nicely. Okay, kalau ada soalan boleh teruskan. I'm gonna go back to my slides. This is actually my last slide. Yeah, my last slide. I'm glad that I don't have to do too many slides because I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions. So thank you again for all of you who have been asking so many questions. Very good. So this is basically a quick summary. The reason why I highlighted these slides is to show you the type of funds, the type of grants, the type of maybe loans that we have raised throughout our journey. Okay, and all of these grants, funds, loans, whatever it is, are done directly, meaning that we don't use any third party, meaning we know about the grant, we heard about it, we went to them, we applied, we use the normal process. Maksudnya tak ada kroni lah ni. You tak adalah guna orang belakang ke, boleh tak dapat. So it's all based on merit. Okay, so I mentioned earlier we started with MDEC punya, masa tu they call it Technopreneur Pre-Seed Fund. Okay, so they were the one who were first to believe in the idea. So again, MDEC was one of the reasons why we started the company. Okay, it's a very small amount. It's about 150, but it is good enough to get us to the MVP and prototype stage. Yeah. Late 2011, early 2012, Cradle came in. So we were actually we were quite worried because at that point in time we were not able to convert our free users, right? So we need to commercialize, we need to pivot, and I would say Cradle believe in that new idea and new plan moving forward. So we able to commercialize the product to a lot of government agencies, businesses, private companies, SMEs through their Cradle commercialization fund. I think that was about 500, about 500,000 lah. Okay, and then I think from day one, we always position ourselves as a global product. Sebab we know that it can be used globally. It's a platform. It's a SaaS product, kan? So if you look at our website pun, we are not positioning ourselves as based in Malaysia or a Malaysian company. So when we get an inquiry, people sometimes think that we are based in the States. People think we are based in the UK, kan? So when we tell them that, hey, we are actually a Malaysian-based company, they want to, oh, ya ke? Those kind of things. So 2014 was the year when we started aggressively to go to the Southeast Asian market. Okay, so we looked at Singapore. I think we started our Singapore branch then, and then we looked at Philippines, Thailand. I think Indonesia was around that time as well, 2014, 2016, and this is where we started to look at raising Series A. So then we went to MTDC, Malaysia Technology Development Council. So they have a grant called Business Growth Fund up to 4 million at that point in time. So we applied. We basically got an offer on the table. We went for the due diligence process, or the term sheet is there. Unfortunately, towards the end, we were not able to agree on some of the terms lah. So the offer is on the table, but due to certain terms that we, at that point in time lah, we felt not to our advantage, we decided to decline that. Okay, so that was one of the experience where we felt tak apalah, maybe this is not what it is meant to be. So we continue our journey using whatever that we have. So throughout that years, from the last grant that we got from Cradle until 2015 to 2016, we were on our own because we are sustainable in that sense. We were able to use whatever that we earn from our income to sustain in terms of paying our staff, our operational costs, etc. Then you see few other assistance, not just funds, but these are, I would say, financial assistance in the form of grants juga lah. So kalau pernah dengar Matrade MDG, so this is development grant, market development grant. So MDG is given to Matrade members who are interested to export the market. The export definition is as long as you have a product or services that can be sold to markets outside of Malaysia. Then Matrade will come in and assist you. So for example, if you want to exhibit in China, you want to exhibit in Indonesia, in the States, in the UK, you can actually claim a lot of things from Matrade. They ada cap dia lah. So in total for every company right now, they have raised the cap to 300,000. So you can use that. Yeah. Once the cap is done, basically dah tak boleh claim lah. So for conferences that you attend overseas, exhibitions that you attend overseas, trade missions, kan? So macam early this year, we went to Dubai Expo. They also helped us with some of the expenses covered. So again, you have to be really smart about where to go based on your plan. So if you plan to go outside of Malaysia, a lot of things are happening in Matrade. So you should be very close to them. Approach Matrade, be a member, contact them, get to know the people who are involved in which industry. They have so many offices outside of Malaysia, different industry, F&B dan sebagainya. So these are the guys that you need to know, approach and ask assistance. Kita memang bangsa orang kata apa, hustle je kan. Entrepreneurs ni, if you don't ask, you don't get. Malu-malu won't get you anywhere. Okay. Worst case you can get is they will say, no, we cannot give that to you. Okay lah, tak apalah. No is okay. Rather than tak tanya. Okay. So when we ask, normally they will say, yeah, we have this. Ataupun we don't have this, but I think you can go to this A guy or A agency. They might have something for you. So that's where you start looking at new ways of raising this financial assistance or grants. Okay. So Matrade also has another thing called BEDP, Bumi Putra Exporters Development Program. So this one is not marketed by Matrade. So only after you're in Matrade, then you know that, oh, every year dia ada a certain quota that is given for Bumi companies. So that they will train. So this is a coaching program. So they will train you on how to do export overseas. Maybe dalam every cohort, dia ambil dalam 10 ke 15. And then it's not just training, they will give you, I think, up to 200,000 extra for you to do again exhibition, promotions, marketing outside of Malaysia. Okay, that was in 2015, 2016. I'm not sure if the program still exists nowadays. Again, you hear this from me today, don't assume it is still there. Entrepreneur do what? Go ask research. Jangan cakap Yusno kata ada. Yelah ada masa time dia. Kan? Sekarang maybe dah ubah nama, dah ubah orang, dah ubah konsep kan. So take this as per what I'm sharing, but then you have to do that extra work after this. Then they have GoX. GoX is also another program. Dia panggil Let's Go Export lah. So the name is GoX. So again, GoX is done at that point in time by Matrade collaboration with SME Bank, SME Corp. Again, all of this that I mentioned, it comes with financial assistance. It's not just a program, tapi it comes with financial assistance that will allow you to aggressively go outside of Malaysia. So 2017-19, we were very, very active in Jakarta, in Indonesia. We basically stayed that a week every month. We have partners there. We expanded our operations and all of that with the help of, again, more assistance from SME Corp. Masa tu they have the BAP. BAP is Business Accelerator Program. Comes with a lot of financial assistance. Nowadays, I think dah ada BAP2, BAP3. So just go to SME Corp website dulu. You tengok apa dia punya financial assistance that are available out there. Syarat dia, you have to be an SME. Right? So as long as you're a sendirian berhad, normally you fall under that definition lah. Either you are micro, small ataupun medium. Okay. Then you have another agency, SME Bank. They also have another exporting program called Business Exporters Program. So you are listening to a lot of exporting financial assistance. Sebabnya dekat Malaysia banyak. A lot of assistance from all of these agencies to help you go out of Malaysia. So now that you know about this, you can start thinking, how is it that my solution can be exported or can be sold outside of Malaysia? Tak perlu jauh. It can be as close as Indonesia or Singapore. That itself is considered as exportable. Okay. Now fast forward to 2020. Of course, we heard the stories of COVID, so we suspended quite a number of our international operations. But we pivoted to a new product called a virtual product. And then MCY, Malaysia Commercialization Year. Sebenarnya MCY ni, I think you all know kot, mesti dia dah ada this program every year since 2016 ke 2017. But we never joined. Okay. But you know lah, 2020, a lot of time juga in our hands kan, well, a lot of things are down. So we were like, okay lah, let's masuk and see whether we can win. Because the winner comes with also an award lah, monetary award. It's a cash awards. So cash can be converted into basically your operations lah. So don't be afraid to join competitions that can give you cash benefits as well. So alhamdulillah, we basically got the Commercialized Deal Achievement Award in 2020. Then 2021, we heard about the new Mosti punya Sandbox program. I think if you are not aware, you can just go to sandbox.gov.my. I think it is run by masa tu Magic, now Meranti and MTDC. NTIS is National Technology Innovation Sandbox. Sandbox ni dia ada 4, Sandbox 1, 2, 3, 4. So apa tu 1, 2, 3, 4, you can check the website. Depending on where you are at, how you want to deploy your solution, your innovation. Ada a certain industry ataupun segment that they will consider. So the amount is ranging from 250,000 to 1 million. It's a matching grant. Matching grant meaning at that point in time, it was 70-30. Okay, 70% coming from them, 30% you have to fork on your own. Okay, so and then we came out with that AI-powered facial recognition, hybrid event technology, and then I mentioned earlier about the raising some debt from the Penjana TRRFI loan at that point in time. This year, we completed NTIS Sandbox 1, and we are now in the process of upgrading that into Sandbox 3, which means a bigger funds coming in with a certain matching as well, matching grant, and also some interesting prospects of commercializing that particular innovation. There is another called Galakkan Export Bumi Putra. I think this one is under SME Corp now. GEB, for you to continue exporting, because now we're setting up base in India, UAE, and also US. So that is also another financial assistance that is allowing you to explore different market for your export. And last point there I put is part of kita punya exercise of capturing a bigger market in what we are doing. So we are looking at acquiring smaller startups juga that are relevant to our business lah. Okay, so that's a basic thing that I can remember. I hope I don't miss out anything, but I think we have we have been assisted a lot, as you can see. Ada satu tu in 2014 I mentioned TPM dekat situ. So TPM is Technology Park Malaysia, bukan Timbalan Perdana Menteri Technology Park Malaysia. So we never get anything from our Prime Minister or Timbalan Prime Minister, but we got from Technology Park Malaysia. Nowadays dia dah tukar nama. So if you guys know, TPM is now called Meranti. Okay. So our office has been in TPM or Meranti since day one. So when we started in 2011, kita ambil office, we are there, but of course in different areas in TPM lah. Until today, we are still in TPM. So throughout the years, I think being in a place where you are able to be supported, okay, not financially, okay, this is not financially, but supported in terms of marketing activities, bringing you to the right places, to the right markets. So you are basically tagging along. So you have to plan your marketing and strategy, your strategy of positioning yourself to must be right. Because as a new company, it's very hard for you to knock on the doors. We had that problem. Nak ketuk pintu ministry susah. Dia orang tak kenal siapa kita. But if you go with another agency and they are fronting it and they are introducing you, then maybe the other agencies will listen. Okay, so you have to play the right strategies to attack whoever that you are trying to go in lah. Jangan kata susah. Memang susah. Semua benda is challenging in business. Right? But you have to tak jumpa jalan satu, guna jalan dua. Guna jalan tiga. So this is where networking is important. Knowing the right people. But I must say that with Technology Park Malaysia, with the people that we've worked with, they have been very, very helpful. We even went to Hong Kong because of them. We went to Indonesia because of them. Why I say because of them is simple. I wanted to explore Hong Kong. Tak kenal siapa-siapa Hong Kong basically is totally a new thing for us back in 2014. But Hong Kong has a technology park. So Malaysia has a technology park. So only when you're in a technology park, you know that technology park ni dia ada sort of like affiliations across one whole, dia ada network of technology parks in the entire world. So they can connect you easily. So that could be your landing base. So Malaysia Technology Park connect me with Hong Kong. Hong Kong, they call it Hong Kong Science Park. So I was about to travel to Hong Kong. They made a call. Hong Kong Science Park kata, yeah, you can use my office for 3 days at no cost. We will connect you with the right partners. Let us know what you are doing. So I arrived at Hong Kong airport. I got the call. Straight away go to Hong Kong Science Park. So ni macam basically terjah je lah kan. And attended few meetings. And that's the story how we actually entered Hong Kong lah, with the help of TPM at that point in time. So leverage these connections with the right agencies. Okay, about to end soon. I'll get back to the questions if you have after this. I'll end with this slide. So sometimes we are so constrained with logic. I'm a logical thinking person. I'm so used to programming, so I know that A equals to B, those kind of things. So you have to also understand that in business, sometimes you need creativity, you need to just be a bit more visual, right? And believe that a lot of things can be achieved by visualization. Okay, so imagine where your product want to be. Strive towards that. So basically during your downtime during your apa orang kata waktu tengah in the zone apa kan, out of your stressful time, try to visualize a lot of things, and hopefully stronger visualization will lead to actions, will lead to you getting what you really want in terms of your product, your innovation in your business. Okay. So terima kasih on that. Slides dah habis. This is the part of our commitment in terms of sustainability. We are also part of the group in the UK where we are supporting net zero carbon events. So by 2050, this is what we are looking at. It's not that far, but a lot of things need to be done. Okay, ada 2 soalan. Quick tips, pointers when applying for fund. What are the key ingredients? Good. Okay, ada 10 minit. Satu, know your product well and able to write it, especially if it is on a business proposal, write it clearly with a lot of visualization. If it is in the slides, make it a very clear slides, not a lot of words. Yeah, a lot of us, especially academician, dia dah biasa with text. So the entire slides will be filled with text. People who are reading normally they find it very hard to understand. But if you put gambar rajah, visuals, numbers, and bullet points to let them know what you are trying to do, especially market size. Tadi kan market validation, market size. Make it in a nice infographics. Okay, this is your big market, total market. This is what market you're trying to get. This is potential clients. Kan, this is a solution. This is a pain points. Then it is much easier for them to assess. Okay, and satu lagi, requirements. Okay, understand the requirements so that you don't waste your time applying it. Sebab orang apply isi semua, bila masuk suddenly, cik tak qualify lah benda ni. Ada satu requirement tak masuk. So you're wasting your time. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how many weeks that you prepared for that application. So first, go talk to the person, ensure that you fulfill all the criteria. Memang boleh, confirm boleh. Then look at the form, start filling up the form, prepare it in such a way that it is easy for them to understand. And then the financial projection, normally they will require that as well. So understand how to do your cash flow, your P&L, your balance sheet. Kan, you need to know that a bit in order for you to go to them so that they can see that your business has the potential to earn this much. You can earn some, you can incur some losses in the first 1 year or 2 years, but after that, in your third, fourth year, maybe you're starting to make some profits. Okay, so that would be my tip lah. Be clear in terms of what you want to do and understand the requirements. How is Malaysia doing in terms of IT-based tax comparing to our neighbors? Very good. To be honest, I've been with the ecosystem for quite some time. I've seen a lot of interesting things happening, a lot of interesting startups going everywhere, raising so many funds. It's just that sometimes they don't get covered in the media that much. Tapi ada. Okay, so it's just that you would need to be in that ecosystem community to be able to know who they are and learn from what they have gone through. Okay, of course, you can't compare ourselves with more developed nations lah. Of course, Korea, Singapore, these are startup hubs. Okay, which is why I would say some of our IT companies are moving to these areas not because they don't like Malaysia. It's just that more funds are available in these areas. Lagi senang to raise funds. Okay, so not an issue. But there are some startups who are still in Malaysia, able to raise funds from Singapore, able to raise funds from Hong Kong, from Australia, from India. So in a way, it's all about what you have with you, your market size, the ability to compete, and at the end of the day, the commitment. They will see the passion that you have. Okay, so be passionate what you do, and I think the first thing that, as you can see here, this is actually the first value in our company. So we have five values in our company, but the first one we call it CP, commitment and passion. The founder, of course, we are very committed, we're very passionate, but even within our team, if you don't have that passion on a daily basis to wake up, do the thing that you love, can contribute, make mistakes. Yeah, I always tell my team, make mistakes. It's okay, but you don't repeat the same mistakes. Buat je mistakes, because only then you will learn. I will learn from you as well. and that shows you're passionate. Okay, so commitment, passion must be there for you to be able to survive. Even people is asking me after 12 years, why are you still doing EVENESIS? People who have known me from day one, EVENESIS, 12 years down the road, EVENESIS. Tak boring ke? Tak bosan ke? Buatlah benda lain. Kan explore lah, buat new business ke. To me, there are so many more things that I want to accomplish. And bringing EVENESIS to different parts and basically compete with the other well-known and recognized brands in the world. Okay, ada soalan lain ke tak? Tak ada? Okay, I think it's almost 12. I hope I have covered everything. Tengok kejap ada chat. Kat chat Webex. Thank you. Alright, I've covered everything. Thank you again everyone for being here. Let me see. Wah, dia dekat 60 orang juga towards the end. Thank you. Okay, last call. Kalau tak ada, I have to pass back to Fazlin.
So
Terima kasih.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Mr. Yusno. Thank you so much. Such an inspiring talk. So that's the end of our session. On behalf of Bitcom, I would like to thank everyone for coming together here today. Thank you especially to Mr. Yusno. That was awesome. And recorded version of this session can be found at Bitcom's YouTube channel. So to our audience, please fill out our attendance form and see you in the next talk. Thank you, Mr. Yusno. That was really great.
Thank you all. See you again, insyaAllah.
Thank you, Yusno.
Okay, bye, dog. Assalamualaikum.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.